I decided, Adine. At the rate things are going, though, I might need to take a break from translating just because I'm getting too angry. Like, that cat that doesn't like the banana is happier than I am. Let's take care of the bad ending first. Oh my god, what a cute song. The thing is, the more I dive into this game... Like, let me try to explain how this feels. I love this. My original playthrough was an experience that I regret, and I feel very bad about what I did and how I rushed through it. In the wrong way. Like, I didn't rush through it properly. And now that I've come back to it, I'm starting to pick it apart, and it starts to fall apart. And it hurts a lot. And now I look back at myself, and I'm like, wow. Everything I did, every mistake I've made. I feel bad about it. I feel like I'm wasting my time. Like, you know, it's probably how those people felt when God was like, hey, that idol, I'm gonna kick its ass. And he kicks the idol's ass, and everyone's like, wow, that idol sure paid off, didn't it? You know, it's that kind of feeling. The fallen hero. Maybe that's what's going on. Who knows? I think I'm gonna do something on the role-playing channel just to get my mind off. Get back on the good side. Remind myself of the good parts. Because what else is Adine about? So this one's a little bit different. You sound a little pushy. This is different, because it works a bit better. And she's like, I'm trying. Because, you know, Adine is not the kind of person to be pushy and mean about things. I think it's a tiny tweak. It still carries the same emotion. It's still just basically the same sentences. Although this does kind of contextualize things a bit differently, but it's nothing major. She is someone who has self-confidence issues, so it's something she would probably say. Oh, I understand. There's a double meaning to this. You didn't do anything besides acting like a jerk. Oh, how did I never notice that's what that's about? Like, the whole thing is, that's all you've done. God, this song, though. Man, I don't know what to say. Like, I wonder, if I go back and I just play this again, like I play this, could I salvage myself? Is this something I can save? Is the visual and audio experience that comes with it, and not having to constantly think about things, does that liberate me from this perspective? Or am I forever cursed to it? Am I forever going to be stuck being a critical jerk? There. I need to remember that Adine speaks a bit looser than everyone else. Like, Lorem is just whatever the fuck. I don't know what to make of Lorem. But Adine is loose. She talks loose. Cutesy loose. It's like, oh, she's so cute. You know, that kind of sense. Oh, yeah, this is in case you got sent away. Which is still interesting that it has to account for the fact that Adine does see you, then. I wonder, is there a timeline where Maverick doesn't break the portal and it's Azumi instead? Like, what the fuck happens in that timeline with fucking Maverick? It's like, I didn't break it. Then who did? Some ghost? Oh yeah, now it shows Emily. First, we gotta go pick up some fucking character graphics. Emily, which no, that's not here. It's a chapter 2 thing, I guess. Emily. So now I see Emily. This is kind of a weird picture when you think about it. For one, those are some very oriental doors. A lot of this is very Japanese. I don't know why. But here's Emily. Oh wow, Emily does not have the proper claws for the situation. I mean, if that's all of Anna's genes, then why the hell is that, you know, like dark? Man, oh, look at all these tiny little nicks in the line art. Oh, always sucks. Look at this. This sucks as much as this does. Like here, the lines don't meet up. Here, the lines are too close together and they look smushed. Here, you got a couple of improper fills. Like that sucks, man. This hurts. Like this hurts like hell. And that's like, oh man. The thing is, where's Adine in this shot? And why isn't Adine here? And this makes Amelia look really tall. Emily looks very tall for this picture. Then again, she has a runner standing up. She's probably pretty tall. Although that shading looks really cool. Nice and smooth. Like, her design's pretty cool. I wonder how hard it was to get that consistent. Like, what were the exact notes as to where things be? Was this an exact pattern that was mapped out, or were they like, you have to do it this, this, this? Also, that's a very different picture from most other things. And this, by the way, is kind of hard to do. You'd be surprised how hard it is to get that particular kind of snout setup to work from any perspective. Oh. But I've been trying. Sometimes I have a good day, sometimes not. But where's Adine? Like, is she outside? And why is she not in the shot? I imagine it's because most artists charge extra when you have a character standing in a shot like that. But besides that, it's probably just that, really. Let's see. It should be Town 4, I think. Yeah. So, in case you remember, yeah, that is the exact same kind of door. So this must be some sort of 3D environment or something? With a filter over it, probably. Very probably, because that does look like something that could be 3D cut off. Or not, I don't know. I can't tell you, I'm not a Photoshop expert. But yeah, for one, this looks like two-story buildings, which is not imply what it's to be. But I do like how oriental this looks. Yeah, this has got to be, because that is very impressive that's actually drawn. But yeah, like, what kind of back alley is this? Made mostly out of wood? Like, something about it just feels a bit... It's not a criticism, like, I'm not being critical, but it's just like a kind of an odd place to have in a city like that. And I do love this, that there's like a dark version, which is for some reason slightly taller. Huh. I like how there's European style right next to this. I wonder what dragons feel about that. How they feel about that. I always find it kind of weird that you have to tell your kid to say hi. Oh yeah, it's Vera that doesn't talk. Emily talks just fine. I wonder if Vera's nature is age or that she's wild and doesn't deal with people. But who is she waiting for if not for you? Was she waiting for someone to pick her up? And if someone was going to come in to pick her up, what the hell are you going to do about her? I really like this though. Like this, Adine is clearly trying to be nice. She really tries. She's like, come on, I'll do my best. I will get this settled. Why is this mentioned? Because that's not an achievement. Oh yeah, because it's part of it. Because it's required for certain character endings to have done this. And let's pull this one up. No, this one. Oh. Oh, yeah, because you have to... Oh, frick. There we go. I like how Adine's house seems to be mostly her fucking shower, which is huge. Which I can imagine makes sense, but I can't imagine, like, putting her feet mobility aside, wow. The space must be very awkward for someone who likes to spread their wings. I'm just saying. Ups. Oh wow, it's actually specifically called Adine Ups. I think I should close the curtains. Yeah, that shower, for one, has the toilet in it. It seems to be the shower, at least. Now, that's where the bathtub is. Why would why did I think... because I'm used to, like, showers having, like, the little pole next to it and all that. Not the bathtubs. Wait. Why does she have that? That's, like... That's a card holder, but they look like they're full of flyers. Like this is some sort of office. Ooh, look at those uneven lines. The artist tried their best, but you can't win them all. You can't win them all. Just like in real life, when people make imperfect versions of cases. Unless they're machined. I like how these are tiny, or different lengths. I don't know if that's intentional, but... Also, do dragons really need sheets? Wouldn't they just be a lot better off with just a heater? And like how she has empty shelves over here, too. Like, I'm gonna put up some shelves and put nothing on them. She has a pillow. Would she need a pillow? Could she use a pillow that effectively? Like, a lot about this picture just makes me ask questions. Like, this case, that'd be, you know, actually, that's perfect for her feet. I imagine the remote's just under the fucking table, and she just bats at it with her foot. Ah, yeah, alliteration. Klein, small, but coziness. I like how it takes her no time at all. It takes her no time at all. Wow. Flying is an advantage if you want to be fast, you know? You know, just kind of capture the idea because it's not something you can easily translate. I don't even know what a perk is in Dutch. Perks. Perk point. Wow. It doesn't even translate in the proper fashion. So I can't really do the whole weight thing that well in Dutch, but I can do this, and just use some italics. You flew her back? It's kind of weird that for a society that really just kind of dumps their eggs at a hatchery, they don't have more like social services to manage orphans. You think there'd be a strong political platform for that? Like, we must stand for our families. If you stand for families, you'd probably fund the social workers a bit. Dragons clearly seem to care about socialist laws and integration. So, Zumi just kind of said, you know, you should probably make sure that people, like, you probably need to make sure everything's accessible and wheelchair accessible. But when it comes to the orphans, just fuck them off. Just get fucking rid of orphans. They suck. You can fuck them over, or you're like, maybe Izumi was an orphan. Like, that's something to consider, because she's a blue-collar worker. Although, would humanity in that time and space even have orphans? Questions. Social workers. How do you put that down? Oh, worker. I guess that is this direction. I like this. So this is basically the same, and then I added, like me. You know, for one, this sentence is a bit shorter in this version. But it kind of captures the idea. Like, you know, like me. Like, that's what I'm doing. I think we actually translate babysitting with our, yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, what the fuck are this called? Vervoegingen. What do you have to say about this? Conjugations, yes. Our conjugations, we take that shit over. It's gebabysit. To have babysit. And it's babysitten instead of babysitting. It's naughty. Cultural appropriation to the max here in the Netherlands. Ooh, oh, sassy boys. Is that what a foster parent is? Yeah. Huh. So, the funny thing is, a lot of this game is, this moment in particular is very striking. I always find it kind of cool when a story brings up a social issue, but it doesn't fucking stop about it. There's a difference between, I like green, I think that green is a very important issue, and in our world, it's also an important issue. Like, we're also very concerned about the eco-friendliness of our footprints. And then, with Adine, it's like, yeah, even in our world, adoptions and foster kids are kind of a problem. And the fact that you can become too old to be adopted is kind of a problem. And then you think, you're like, but she doesn't go on about it. She just makes you aware of it. And she's like, this is a problem here too. And it makes you feel guilty. Because if someone goes on and on and on, like, oh, I'm so sad with adoption. If everyone has like at least a week, an hour a week they can spend on babies, then you just become sad of it. But with Adine, it's like you have a human connection with her, and then she says it, and you're like, I can see where you're coming from. You know? It's the good kind of signaling. What a shame. Also, I cheated. I actually knew most of the answers at a time when I original playthrough. Because I'm a cheater, because I'm an asshole. I shouldn't have. Wow. Like, you've seen her for like 5 minutes, and you immediately say that. What? Like, why would you... Why would you pick this? You've seen her for like a minute, and she just said hello, and you're like, well, fuck that kid. That kid said hello to me. People don't say hello. They get on their knees and they pray to God. Like, you're really just, whew, whew. I do like that. That's apparently something you kind of do later on, sort of, in one of the endings. I mean, the thing is, you could also just pick this as, like, from the perspective of, I can see why you wouldn't adopt someone who's too old. Unless, I can see why they wouldn't adopt her. You know, it's, like, context makes this kind of hard. I like how he refers to it as one of those. I want you to walk into some parent's house, point to their kid and say, I wouldn't let one of those in my house. I want you to see just how long you can breathe air. It's probably not that long. Even if they're a shit parent, they're still going to be like, well, fuck you. That's my kid to abuse. The fuck do you think you're doing coming into my house and abusing the kid I slap every night? You know? They're going to be pissed. And if they're a good parent, you're even more dead. Ironically, the more of an asshole the parent is, the less they're going to hurt you. Which is disappointing. But at the same time, you know where you stand. And just, I keep it in mind, Zoetes, which means like something like that, you know? Zoetes. I'm surprised that Adine is able to say the sentence straightforward, because she is someone with, like, confidence issues. And, like, I know this is like a tiny tweak, it doesn't do much, but it really does kind of hammer home that she's very off balance. Like, Adine seems like someone who's kind of balancing things. She's got strong emotions, so it's incredibly likely she'll just flip over. I like how you use that as a defense. That's not a defense, by the way. Saying you're honest does not mean that you weren't an asshole. Free speech does not entitle you to people not beating you up for what you said. Now, admittedly, there is such a thing as protected free speech. Like, you are allowed to say something in a public venue without being threatened. And I'm behind that. I do think anyone should be allowed to say anything. But once you go into private property, and once you start making it, like, for real, I'm sorry, but if you go to someone and you say, I'm going to kill you, they're allowed to preemptively strike you, is what I say. Like, if you say that, and you mean it, and someone around instead of say, yes, he meant it, I think the cops should let that guy go. Because, you know, you're kind of pushing your luck there, buddy old pal. But otherwise, I mean, you're not going to defeat Nazis by shutting them up. That's not just how it works. They tried that with the communists, and look how that worked out. Didn't work as well as you think it did. It's what they did with the Japanese! They put them in camps for being Japanese! Look how that worked out. Japan was like, what the fuck's wrong? Well, Japan did it too. In fact, Japan probably did it worse. So admittedly, in a kind of gruesome way, America was kind of justified. I mean, it's still racist as fuck, but you can see where they're coming from. The Japanese are flying planes and people, and they're committing suicide, and their civilians are attacking soldiers, and you kind of have a reason to start arresting the Japanese when their civilians are acting a little bit funny. You know? Like, admittedly, these are Japanese people living in America. They don't talk to the Japanese government. They don't know these plans. They're not told to do this. So you could say, well, they don't know about those plans. So they're not likely to... And also, they live in America. There's a cop who could just shoot them. They're not protected by military. And they're not fighting for their last straw. They could just live their lives, you know? Like, there's a lot of arguments to and fro. But ultimately, you probably shouldn't do that. If only because you're probably going to lock up people that aren't part of that group. Like, you arrest someone and he's like, he's not really a Nazi. He's just ideologically, he shares a few opinions with Nazis, which is likely because the Nazi is a pretty broad spectrum of ideas. Like, what's the point where you're a Nazi? What's the point where you're Japanese enough to go in a Jap camp? Like, how Japanese do you have to be? How many generations back? How Korean before you're Japanese? That kind of stuff, you know? Like, once you start putting people in camps for that kind of stuff, you have to start making rules, and they're not going to be good rules, and you're going to... Wow, I like how we got from one of these, and honesty being a good policy, to this. But yeah, I do feel that if you say something really fucking mean, you know, the government can't silence you, but that motherfucker sure can. Like, sure, he might get arrested for assault and put in jail, and might get part of a lawsuit, but he's allowed to punch you. In terms of, he has the freedom to punch you. Legally not, but he's not handcuffed down. Like, you're still risking, you know? It's like goading a bear. The bear has the freedom to attack you. You have the freedom to goad the bear, but some point, it's kind of common sense to at least be a little gentle with the bear. Maybe not try to hit it with a stick, but just kind of nudge it a bit, you know? Just kind of get the point across instead of immediately trying to cause violence. You know, be nice. Apparently that guy got punched multiple times too, which I find very impressive. Like, if that actually happened, you think that after the first time of being punched in front of a television and everyone's like, "Ooh," you'd hire a bodyguard, or you'd not get close to a group of people while being interviewed or something like that. Like, that seems like the kind of situation that would get you on edge. I wonder what happened to that guy. I didn't follow that at all. This is getting too political. Let's move on. I'm getting distracted. Funny thing! Honesty is not the best policy. Does track... That's actually not how you could do that. Like, yeah! Early guide's the best to belate. It rhymes, and it's cool, and it captures the idea of it. For some reason, people say it, it doesn't work. It doesn't sound as good. Because you're referring to how sturdy it is, how long it will last, how well it will last. And it doesn't sound as good. I just like, honesty is the best policy, you know. Admittedly, it really isn't. Not in today's world of espionage. Honesty is kind of a... It's a nice policy, but you're gonna... Selective honesty is the best policy, you know? People prefer white lies to being told to their faces that they suck. Although, if someone really sucks, you should probably just tell them. Like, don't leave them in their little spirit world. They need to be told. Which is what I did. For someone else to boot. Because they're like, I don't want to tell people I'm soft. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, just tell me what to fucking say and I'll say it. Goddamn. I don't want you to feel like an idiot, like a beat-up bum, because you don't have the guts to stand up. I'll stand up for you. Ironically, he's not a little man, which makes it all the weirder. I'm not standing up for the little man. I'm standing up for the big man who doesn't want to stand up for himself. What a great policy. It's also kind of weird how this is phrased. Someone has to look out for her. I know what the idea is, but it doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't capture the idea of someone has to care about her. Someone needs to be there for her. You know, if adoption's that difficult, I can understand that the numbers aren't promising. If it's really fucking hard to buy a hot dog, people are gonna buy donuts. They're not gonna go through the trouble. Like, instead of fighting piracy with DRM, you could fight piracy by just offering a better service. You know? Like, a lot of piracy is, this is not convenient, not worth my time and money, because it's not convenient, and I'll have a shit experience. So I can go over here, I can get it fast, smooth, no trouble, bam. Sure, there's people who don't buy it, but if the people don't buy it because they don't have the money or want to spend the money, they wouldn't buy it in the first place. Like, there's only so many pirates that will buy your game if you offer a competitive service. And the rest, they weren't sales to begin with. They weren't lost sales. They were never planning to buy your game in the first place. If a person steals a car, but they were never planning to buy a car, did you lose a sale? Technically, I guess, you're out of a car. But imagine that every car just magically reappears. Like, you don't actually lose a car. Like, yes, he has a car now for nothing, but he was never planning to buy any. You lost nothing. He just got away scot-free. I'm not saying it's alright. It's still a jackass thing to do. Like, come on, man. If you want to buy it and if you appreciate it, just throw him some money. Like, just, even if it's just buying one thing they've made. You know, just show some appreciation. Don't be that guy. You know? Like, I still laugh at pirates that, like, pirate the game, and then they're like, oh, man, the anti-pirating measure is causing Batman to sink like a brick. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. Ah, that's a good one. I like those. Those get a wink and a smile from me, because they're smart. Because they ruin the game that these people that don't want... Like, it's kind of mean, because it's kind of saying we're not going to improve convenience, we're going to make it less convenient to be a pirate. Like, I'm very iffy about that, but it's always funny. It's always just a good hoot. Because I never have trouble with it. Actually, I used to pirate. I think it was Adobe Photoshop. Now I've bought Psy. Like, I'm buying my things lately. I was a little shit back then. I didn't do anything with them. I just did it for the sake of it. That's so weird. Why would I download a program for no reason? Is that illegal? Like, like that's a weird question because it really only exists in cyberspace. I just said cyberspace, unironically, great. But yeah, it really only is a thing that exists here. Like anywhere else, you can't copy something without there being some detriment to the original. What a weird set of questions that are very hard to understand because they're very abstract. But luckily, the people in charge are becoming smarter and smarter and beginning to realize things. America lost net neutrality though. Ha ha. That's gonna suck for everyone. I'm laughing because I'm afraid of the future. Also, Trump has been in the news a lot lately. I'm very surprised. The news has been weird. Just like those planes, which have stopped flying. There were some jet planes and some propeller planes. Apparently, it's Veterans Day. I didn't know we had Veterans Day, but we have one, apparently. And so some jet fighters flew over. My god, jet fighters are loud. They were really low, too. Like, at most 20 stories high. Just zooming over. Like, wow. That was a sight. Too bad I only could put my glasses on for the last guy, but that was impressive. That was something else. The funny thing is, the way this is set up implies that there's actually not that much crime. Like, the dragons do not seem to suffer as much crime as humans do. Like, they're less criminal? Like, I don't think you ever get mugged. Like, you're never mugged or, like, thrown or kicked or arrested or anything. Like, you really don't encounter crime besides what Reza's doing. And so the question kind of is dragon crime common? Because if that's not a problem, then Emily probably will end up fine. Maybe it's social housing or whatever homeless shelters you have, but compared to humans, probably a lot better. Like, the majority of humans that are poor kind of get the shaft end of a lot of things. Like, Emily probably end up, like, middle class compared to humanity at this moment. Like, she's pretty well off, considering. And there's a lot of people who are, like, really nice and care about people. And even Zhang is like, I really try my best, but I can't do this. Like, clearly, there's a lot of nice dragons. Like, you could be homeless and poor in a worse place without a family, you know? Could be worse. And who knows, maybe things improve. Emily's young. Depending on how long it takes for a dragon to become an adult, policies might improve. More social workers might become available. Things get better. Who knows? Oh, I forgot. Oh, fuck. Because this is actually referring to future tense! It's referring to taking care of her in the future. I like this stance. If I don't do it, who will? That's a good stance to have on life. It might be overbearing, but it's better than the alternative of I don't care. Someone else will do it. Wow, I like how you can just straight up fucking murder her. You're wasting my time. Whew. Whew. Admittedly, I mentioned being able to skip dialogue options. This is not one of those times, if only because this is one of those times that if you were able to skip it, you would indeed sound like this. You would sound like a dick. I wonder if Adine is an orphan. Like, Adine, I don't think she ever mentions her parents. And Adine seems very involved in the adoption system. Is she someone who turned out like this because of that? Because she seems like someone... Like, she doesn't seem dumb. She doesn't seem like someone who wouldn't, with the proper education and the proper family, would end up in a good place, you know? She seems like someone that would end up with a good job. But she doesn't. And she constantly seems very interested in this. Like, there's the thin implication that she doesn't have parents of some sorts. Or that she didn't have time to do certain things in life. Obligation. An obligation. Man, I'm not making as much progress as I was hoping today. Man. Because of my stupid rant. I went through way too much ranting today. Oh. I do like that your character trait goes to your house? No! You think that'd be a little bit more obvious. I like how... I say I like how, but it means I think this is cool as like a writing. But it's kind of interesting that it didn't... Like, she just drives herself into the ground given the opportunity. She just takes a hand drill and digs her own grave with it. Wow. Like, with Anna, it's understandable, but you're being an ass here. With Lorem, you're being, like, a very flat ass. But here, you're just stabbing her with an emotional knife. Like, her emotions are just spraying on the walls, and you're like, ha ha. I think the problem here is this does sound like the nice guy option, but it really isn't, which is kind of weird. That is a very strange point. See, here you like, when does it do this? When it has something to add? Oh. Adine also doesn't mention your name that much in this date, which is weird, because she really seemed to hammer it in at first. I'm gonna have to stop. My arm is acting up way too much. But hey, look, we got almost 400 sentences done. We're going places, meeting people, lifestyle. I just love that in this dragon world, they have a magazine called the stupid flat name. I want to translate that. We're gonna go to that point because one, I think it puts me over 400, and it's great. Wait, is this? That's just a tiny little quirk. I don't know if that's actually in game. But that's a crying quirk. There's a little hole. Oh no, there's little baby holes. Magazine. That's Swift. There we go. I think the reason that magazines do that is if they just shotgun you with as many topics as possible, you're guaranteed to like at least something. Which is it's not my means, you know. It's kind of like, what does that say about your clientele that you shotgun them with titles and they'll eventually be grabbed? Like, that implies that your audience has a short attention span and is kind of fucking stupid. Or doesn't know what they want, that they need to be shotgunned with it. Or maybe it's just a woman thing. Like a lot of things go back to the woman was at home and she picked berries, which is apparently why they have better eyesight or something. Like, they can distinguish colors very well. Men have better spatial insight because they built things and threw spears at people. You gotta have spatial insight if you want to throw a spear in someone's leg. Or win a good old-fashioned game of baseball. Good old cavemen playing baseball. I can't imagine. Yeah, but if you go back to the berry picking, I can imagine that seeing this lush magazine with lots of exciting things. Although, I think my magazine does it too. No, I think it's just... Nah, it's... yeah, it's just a thing they do. Like, they're competing for shelf space, so it doesn't really matter. It's like you want to present yourself with as much birth as possible. Like, this is everything I am. Buy me. You know? It's kind of like opening your coat and being like, hey, what are you buying? And it's just like a shotgun hanging on. He's like, let me push the shotgun aside so you can see the pistols underneath. You know? I mean, I made it into something sexist, but it really is just something that happens. Because I never really noticed it on other magazines. I never really made the full connection. And now I do. It's like, yeah, I guess that's just how they work. You gotta present yourself as much as possible so people know what you're up for. And, so if they see one article that really grabs their attention, they have to buy it. Or they'll read it a little bit and they'll be like, I'm gonna look like an ass if I read more of this. I'll just buy it. You know, like that. They gotta be thinking like that. This issue. Publicatie. I want publicatie. Uitgave. That's it. Oh, die is simple word. Ah, that's a good one. Also, me mocking that little extra hole. I make those too. I make those mistakes too. Yeah, they're fortune teller cards. It captures the same idea. And here we go. I'm gonna have so much fucking fun with this one. Because I don't think we have these kind of we probably have these fucking magazines. I mean, I've seen sport magazines. I know that these things exist everywhere. They're just how the culture rolls. But I need to translate lifestyle, first and foremost. Lifestyle doesn't work. The thing is, a lot of lady magazines here are just people names. Linda, Lindy, this kind of stuff. It's like, really? Yeah. Yeah. Levensstijl is a mouthful. It doesn't work. So, I could put it through this one. Yeah, it's with two S's because it's Levensstijl. Ooh, Levi's is not bad. Or Style magazine. Though that's a little too fancy. Like, it's gotta be... Oh, I know a posh name. It sounds a bit... It sounds like a poor translation, though. There we go. Perfect life. Perfect living, actually. There we go. That's nice. I like these. These are the best part of the fucking game is when I get to edit this kind of shit. Because when it's this kind of sloppy dirt, it's great. Because you get to put in things that your own language does, and you get to be funny with it. And it's great. Ah, that was great. That's a great little punctuation. We're about 1/5 through, but I think it's going to pick up if my hand acts nice. Anyway, Perfect Living, the magazine for the contemporary dragon. Because I don't think we have a term people that isn't just humans. Yeah, this is humans. This means human, and then plural. Like, personen, maybe, but no one uses that term that often. Ooh. But I could do something like Lieden or folk. Nah, I like this one. The magazine for the contemporary dragon. That just sounds like the kind of headline, right? Like, Perfect Living, the magazine for the contemporary dragon. Like, you can see it in your... You can see that and the fucking cover in front of you right now, can't you? You can see that pompous cover with, like, the 10 things about Justin Dragon you never knew. You know? You can see it. Don't lie to me. You can see it. And you're like, I know someone who reads that. You know it. And to people who think, read that, that's your dirty pleasure. You do what you want. You're not hurting anyone. If anything, you're promoting an industry. Go you. As long as you're not using it for your political opinion, because those things are kind of shit when it comes to political opinions. They're very crappy. That was fun. A nice laugh at the end. But I did waste, like, the big kabam.